Hello, Identity5 gamers. Today we're going to be doing a tier list for survivors. I actually haven't done a tier list in a very long time. But today's tier list is not going to be meta-centered or like what I did in the past where it was like what survivors I hate fighting or what hunters I hate fighting. But today's tier list, it is going to be going over the most fun survivors in the game. We're going to jump right into it. I'll talk about the rating criteria first, and then we'll just kind of speed through everybody and give them all a quick little rundown. Here we go. We have all of our survivors here. We also have Meteorologist. I have not played Meteorologist at the current time this video is releasing. If you're watching this in the future, Meteorologist has not released yet, so she's not going to be rated on this list. This is only going to be up to Night. But we have 5 tiers here. We have peak gameplay design, fun, has their moments, meh, and not fun. Now, I do generally think that any character in this game can be fun to play, but this is just like an on average rating. This isn't going to be specifically in ranked mode. This isn't going to be quick match or duel hunters or anything. It's just going to be playing them in general, right? Playing them in all of the modes, right? Let's say, for example, playing Lucky Guy. He's fun because he has, you know, any item that he can get. He's funny because there's luck based. But he's not like super consistent, so he's not super strong. So a lot of the time you're not going to get the thing that you want. And sometimes that can lead to like frustration. That's kind of the thing, is like a character, if they're strong in the meta, can sometimes ending up being more fun, but also some characters that are strong in meta aren't really that fun. And of course, this is all just my opinion. Obviously, this is entirely subjective. This has nothing to do with objective. This is just completely my opinion. So you are completely fine to disagree with me. But let's start things off here with said Lucky Guy mention. Now, Lucky Guy, I'm honestly going to put him in here. He's like kind of just dead middle. He has his moments because he can pull out the flare gun. He can do all sorts of stuff, right? But I feel like a lot of the time, he's just too weak. He can't really keep up, like especially if you're trying to play him in ranks. He's a very good content character, though. Like in terms of content, he's very, very fun, just because of how versatile he can be with his items. And I would say I'd put him like very high up. These are also going to be ordered in their tier. I could see myself putting him down at the very bottom of fun, but I think I'm going to put him here for now, just to kind of balance things out. I might rearrange some characters here later, but I want to keep things simple here from the start. Next up is going to be Doctor, and personally, Doctor for me is going to go into the meh category, because I don't really find healing to be that engaging. I guess this could also be like in terms of a viewing perspective, right? Healing and sitting behind pallets isn't really fun. Like whenever I see Dr. Kites against like people do like the emote Dr. Kites that are like the TikTok haha funny, look at me, I fight a bad hunter and then I heal behind the pallet and emote or whatever. Those just aren't really interesting to me. And Doctor in general, I just feel like her design of a character is just annoying. She's just like a fly that you have to commit to. Like she's a character that's not really good in the meta, but like the one biggest thing is that you have to commit to her, so you can't really see any interesting strategies versus Doctor. You can like injure her or leave or something. And in terms of playing her, she's just a very slow character, right? Like when she gets hit, she gets a big speed boost, but having to stand still isn't really interesting because she's kind of just like sit still, spam pallet or pallet mind game, and that's it. It's just a constant, endless pallet mind game with Doctor, and I don't know. I don't really find that to be super interesting. Her item doesn't really do anything for me. You just have to sit still while using it. So yeah, she's not really for me. Next up though, we have Lawyer, and Lawyer is fun. Lawyer is fun because he is risky. You can't get Terror Shock. That's honestly the biggest thing that I like about Lawyer is no TS. You also have a lot of little buffs like you decode faster, run faster, vault faster. But the biggest thing is no TS, and that is so fun because it allows you to play so risky with how you vault. Like a lot of the time you'll be up against like certain hunters like Geisha and whatnot, where it's like, oh gosh, can I take this vault? And a lot of the time with Lawyer, you don't have to think. You can just vault. You don't ever have to play it safe. You can vault like 1,000 times and it just never ever matters. And that feels good. It just kind of feels like you can just play without having to like take a risk every few seconds, especially if you think a hunter has blink. Like whenever I know a hunter has blink, my kiting skills diminish so much because I'm so scared to take any vault because I'm so scared of blink. But with Lawyer, it's just like, oh, it doesn't matter. If they blink me, it doesn't matter because I'm already Lawyer. I can't get TS, so that's the biggest thing. Being able to rotate the hunter as well with the map is really fun as well. You can also pull off some really funny tricks, like the Schmitty trick in the 2-story of Moonlit. There's all sorts of little tricks that you can do with Lawyer, and he also just gives out like a lot of information from the team. And just in general, I think he's just a really, really fun character to play. He's definitely not peak gameplay design because his item isn't really flashy, but it's fun. He's like a solid, fun character. Now for Thief, Thief also goes into fun. I mean, Thief is just like a menace, right? He's a menace. He's annoying. He's dumb. He emotes everywhere, and he shines a flashlight in the hunter's face. A menace to go up against, right? But he's super fun to play as. I don't really play as Thief that often, but when I do, I'm always laughing, bro. I'm always laughing. Partially because my Thief is just completely garbage. Like, I could barely play the character, but oh my goodness, is he just so freaking funny, dude. And the fact that he actually has like some decent potential against certain hunters, like they actually played Thief against Opera Singer in her prime for a while on like a few maps. I think it was like on Chinatown, Red Church, and Ever Sleeping, mainly Ever Sleeping. But like if she was forced out to the open, you could just like shine the flashlight on her, and that was just always like so funny, dude. But I think when this character is at his most fun is when the hunter doesn't know how to deal with him. Like, it's so funny, dude. It is just so funny. Now I don't go crazy with the emotes for Creature, but man, I have to hold myself back from doing it. I really should play Creature more. He's not like the strongest survivor as well, which makes me not put him up here. But like when I play this character, there's always a smile on my face, bro. I'm always laughing. I'm always giggling. So I would definitely put him into the fun category. And I would do the exact same thing with Garner. I think Garner is very, very fun. I think I'll probably put her just under Thief. So Garner, the biggest thing that she has is her bubble and the veteran speed bonus. Obviously, being a veteran, she can move very, very fast if she takes a hit. But it's really just the bubble because you can do a lot of different things from the bubble. You can like obviously rescue with it. You can kite with it. And it just really depends on how you use it. Breaking chair is also really, really funny. Whenever you break a chair, it just ends up going really well. She has the vaulting buff, the chair buff. So she has like a lot of little tools in her kit. A lot of the veterans, just old characters, just have like a lot of solid buffs in their kit. Like Gardener, Coordinator, and Lawyer, they all have like vaulting buffs. Gardener and Coordinator both also have extended chairs. So like, I don't know. I think she's pretty fun. I would probably put her like on the low end of fun. I think a lot of what makes her fun as well is her emotes as well. Her emotes are just so freaking goofy. I guess that's a big thing, is like just like the personality of the character too, is like how fun they are to play. And like I feel like their design is incorporated into it just like a little bit. But yeah, I would say overall Emma's just like a good time. Definitely not like peak or anything like that, but it's always fun to play some bubble gaming. And when you get like a clutch bubble or like prime your bubble to go for like a crazy play, that feels really good. Like overall, she's just a fun character to play, that's for sure. Next up we have Mage, and I'm gonna put Mage I'll probably put him under Lawyer, but he's still a fun character. I think the issue with Mage and why a lot of people don't play Mage, I know a lot of people also just say like, oh, conventionally attractive, he's not conventionally attractive, haha, that's why we don't play Magician. I never really got that, but like, for me at least, Magician, I think the reason why people don't play Magician as much is he's not really that flashy. You know, he's not really that exciting of a kiter. He's a strong kiter, at least in terms of meta. He's like pretty solid, and I do think he's one of the most underrated survivors in the game. Because I would consider him a low A tier survivor. He can actually deal with the top 4 hunters decently well. He can kite an Opera, he can kite an Ivy. He actually counters Ivy. He can kite a Goatman, and he can kite a Hullabaloo. Like, he can kite the top 4. He's not like the best against them, but he is a character that works against all 4 of them. And I would say, in fact, Mage has, he can actually deal with every hunter. Like, I would say he actually has a way to deal with every hunter in the game. I don't think there's any hunter that just like outright counters him, except for maybe Wax Artist, because he could just keep going. Like, I can't really think of too many others. But obviously I don't play Mage enough to know, so I feel like Wax would probably just be like a hard matchup for him, but I'm not really sure who else. But he's fun. You get the little speed boost from the wand. You don't get TS from the wands like everybody else does. There's lots of different little plays that you can go for it. And with the accessory, you can also be like pretty goofy with like the dancing thing, or is it the skin or the accessory? I forget. I think it's the accessory. But yeah, overall, Mage is a good time. It's just his ability is not really flashy. You know, you do like a juke, and the hunter, when they get distracted, is kind of funny, but it's just not really that flashy. You know, it's not like a really exciting thing. You know, And next up we have old Kurt here. And I'm sorry, Kurt players, but I have to put him in Has Their Moments. Kurt just hides. He just hides. He's probably going to be at the very bottom of Has Their Moments because when you are hiding and the hunter is right on top of you, oh my gosh, dude, it's so funny. It's like you're just like, oh, you know, like the anticipation, the anxiety, they're like right there. It's like, oh, please don't find me, please don't find me. And it feels really good when you can pull off like a sneaky escape or a sneaky rescue as Kurt when you're tiny. Or even just like a sneaky hide and then the hunter switches targets or something. That always feels great, right? That always feels great. The issue is, again, it's the same thing with Magician, just really not that flashy and honestly not that interactive. My biggest memory with Kurt, though, is during one of the Koa games when FL Hasha was standing right on top of an explorer for about a minute and a half and never found him. Because he just wasn't swinging. If he was swinging, he would have hit him like 5 times, but he just wasn't swinging. He was just looking. And oh my gosh, it was one of the funniest freaking sets to watch of all time. And like, it made me want to play Explorer, bro. Otherwise though, not super flashy. He's fun here and there, but he's not a character I would ever like want to play consistently. Maybe just here and there. Next up is going to be Mercenary. Mercenary is going to fall under Has His Moments as well. I know a lot of people like playing Mercenary. He's a very, very common character. He's very strong, obviously. Very strong rescuer. Probably the best rescuer in the game. Probably? Probably. Yeah, he's probably still the best rescuer. He's just consistent. Always can guarantee 1 rescue against a single hit hunter. And in the top 4 hunters, he can guarantee a rescue against all of them. Except maybe Ivy if he screws up badly. if he gets like TS and then walks back and then gets hit again. But he can eat TS against Hala, Go, Opera, so he's going to always be a viable option versus them. The elbow pads are actually really, really fun to use. I haven't mastered using elbow pads. I've gotten better at them over time, but I haven't really mastered any of like the crazy curved ones. And again, the art of rescuing is quite interesting the more I've been playing Rescuer. And Mercenary has definitely become more fun, but the job of a rescuer is more outside of the game than inside of it, right? The job of a rescuer, at least in terms of like meta, is you focus on telling your team what ciphers you're gonna do. You're usually decoding and rescuing. You're usually rarely ever kiting, so you don't get to interact with the hunter outside of rescuing, which is kind of sad. And the only time you do get kite is when you're like up against a clown or a Percy. And I'm sorry, nobody likes to kite clown or Percy. I don't, at least. I don't like kiting. I like kiting clown if I'm like a kiter, but I don't want to do it if I'm a freaking mercenary, bro. Or even like a wheel or something like that, but I don't know. It could change, but overall I would probably just put Mercenary here because like he has his moments with the rescue and the elbow pads, but a lot of time you're just rescuing, decoding, and you're not really getting to kite. And I feel like kiting is where the heart of the game is at, more so than rescuing, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I would put Mercenary here. And then next up is going to be Priestess, and honestly, this one might be a little bit controversial, but I think I'm going to put her under Mercenary. I think Priestess is a very interesting strategic character and a very interesting support character, but again, not really that interesting in terms of like kiting potential, because a lot of her kites is just like, I put up a portal and you go through it, and then you're stunned, and then I get distance, and that's about it. Like when she gets like those portal lineups that are like super crazy, those are always really fun to watch. Or when she portals into a pallet, like for like a free pallet stun, those are always really fun to watch as well. But she's also banned most of the time. And I don't feel like in this meta, she's the strongest character anymore. Like she will always have to be respected, right? A Priestess will always have to be respected no matter what. But her strengths are just falling off more and more as like more and more hunters are just getting powerful, or more and more powerful, I should say. Yeah, I mean, I don't really play Priestess too often, but overall, I would probably say has her moments. Because again, she does have her moments with the portals and whatnot. But again, I just don't feel like she's the most consistently fun character out there, and at least in my opinion. Next up is going to be Coordinator. Coordinator is super fun. Coordinator is super fun. Probably, I think I'm gonna put her at the top of fun. I might put her up in peak gameplay design. The gun is just funny. I'm sorry, the gun is just funny. This character has so much raw kite potential. She's just so slick, feels so clean to play. She's so fast. She has like a speed boost every 40 seconds. You run knee jerk on her. She's like such a good kiter. The gun guarantees a rescue. Like this character is just so solid. She's the most banned survivor in tournaments because like she's just so solid. She's just a solid all-rounder character that can kind of just do everything. And even though I feel like the gun is a little bit inconsistent, especially in terms of the meta, it does kind of make sense for it to be because it is a pretty strong item when used. And I don't really personally like playing her as a rescuer. I think she's really better as like a second rescuer with kiting build, like a Broken Windows Borrowed Time build, and then she goes for like second rescue usually. But yeah, coordinator is just fun. I mean, she's got goofy emotes as well. She's really fun with those emotes, or really silly with those emotes, I should say. But overall, I just really love how like fast she is. She's fast. She vaults fast. Everything she does is fast. She can get to the chair fast. She decodes fast when somebody's not on the chair. So yeah, I mean, she's just like a slick, overall nice feeling character to play. And the gun will just never not be funny. So yeah, I'm gonna put her in fun. Next up, we're going to have Mechanic. And Mechanic is going to fall under Has Their Moments, but probably like toward the top of Has Their Moments. Maybe like right under Lucky Guy, actually. I would put her there. Because again, Mech, your job is to decode, right? Your job is just to simply decode. And the bot is really interesting because you can have some pretty interesting strategies with the bot. If you can hide out the bot, you get like a guaranteed draw because the hunter will chase you and then he can decode while you're in chair. There's a lot of interesting strategies that you can make use of with Mechanic. You can go for some bot body block plays, which is also just really fun. But I feel like Mech is one of the most inconsistently consistent survivors out there. Like, you usually get a draw from her, but I feel like there's just a lot of frustration that comes with playing Mechanic because you never really know how the match is going to go. There's just so many ways it can go. If the hunter finds your bot, if they don't, if you bot body block, if you don't, if you feed them too much presence with the bot, or if you don't, like, she's a very inconsistent character with how the games play out, I feel like. But maybe that's just because I play with Santi a lot. But I do think she is fun. I mean, the strategic things that you can do with Mechanic will always have to be respected. So I would put her in Has Her Moments, but she's not, again, the bot isn't really that flashy. It's just an extra person, which is more like a interesting strategy to watch over as opposed to like outright fun. But as for our very first character in peak gameplay design, Forward's going there. Forward's peak. Forward is freaking peak, dude. I mean, harassers are just fun. I'm sorry, harassers are just outright so much fun. Like, bullying the hunter is fun. What can I say? It is. Survivors are jerks. All survivors are jerks. They're all bullies. They're all mean. And when you just kind of like embrace that, Forward is just so much fun. I mean, like you're fast with the football. You have fast vaulting. You can harass the hunter multiple times, and those stuns last forever if you get like a good stun off. He's pretty tricky to play though, so when you mess up, it doesn't really feel too good. But at least you can like look at how funny you are when you flop. I don't know, bro. I think Forward is peak game design. I think he's relatively balanced. Maybe not the strongest in meta, but he's like relatively balanced. I feel like with like maybe like one little buff, he'd be good again. So I don't think he's like in a terrible spot in the meta. Not great, but not complete like unusable. I think like he's a very good ranked survivor, especially if you're consistent with him. You need to be good with Forward to like have the most fun with him, but like just being able to like zoom and tackle the hunter with like and there's so many mind games that goes around it, and like you always have to respect a Forward. That's what I love. Like most characters have to respect a Forward, right? Like Anne doesn't really have to, but I feel like most characters, outside of like Anne, Ivy, Hala, Goat, which I guess are like some of the biggest ones right now, but that's why he's been falling off the meta. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of hunters in rank just kind of have to respect Forward, and I kind of like that. And there's like all like the whole sort of mind games that goes into it, so. And you can also just kite with the ball if you're like that scared. You can also just kite with ball. And the vaulting is fast too. It's just fast, slick, fun to play. Very versatile. You can play like almost any build outside of knee jerk. You don't really want to kiting both in, but flywheel, tide, either one works. Such a fun character to play, dude. Such a fun character to play. Next up we have Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye is gonna go under Has Their Moments for me. Probably right here. Mind's Eye is just fun because you can see the hunter through walls. That's it. I mean, that's it. She's just a regular kiter, but she can see you through walls. So you can't really get mind gamed. And it's kind of funny when you go for like some tricks, like trying to go for like some hiding tricks, or if you go for like tap taps. Mind's Eye in general is just kind of funny because everybody knows she's the worst survivor in the game. So whenever you do well with her, it's like, oh, I'm going crazy. Whenever you flop with her, it's like, haha, I'm Mind's Eye. So it's just like, you know, there's always like some interesting commentary there to be made. But you know, not a very flashy character. She's just kind of there. So yeah, I would put her. I would put her just right here. Next up is going to be Perfumer, And honestly, I think this is going to be a bit of a controversial pick. I'm going to put Perfumer below Doctor. I think Perfumer is pretty lame. I think Perfumer is pretty lame. I just don't like the ability Perfume. Maybe it's just because of Duel Hunters, people spamming perfumes, but I feel like it is the most brain dead, I guess, kite. And you could say that I'm gonna. It's funny because I'm gonna put Puppeteer in a different spot, but I feel like I'm gonna have a different reason for Puppeteer. Because I feel like there's like when you use a perfume, it's just like, okay, you are basically invincible for like the next 5 seconds or however long it lasts, and you can use that to like freely transition or just like eat a hit for free. Now the people who would like do perfume on reaction is like, I feel like that's a little bit better, but like it's more of just like it really could just be my Duel Hunters bias of just like people spamming perfumes because they don't want to kite, so they just spam perfumes. But I've never really liked fighting Perfumer. It's like every time I catch up to her, she uses a perfume and is somehow always able to make it to a palette or a window with said perfume and just get there perfectly in time. And it also just could be my bias as a Night Watch player because Perfumer is pretty decent against Night Watch. Anytime you use Wind, you just use Perfume and then eat the hit and then go back and then you're fine. It's just... she's an annoying character, bro. She's an annoying character to fight. And then like to play as, I don't know. I just feel like it's just not the most interesting to me, right? It's just kind of like a stall. I guess like stalling characters aren't the most interesting characters to me. Again, I'll have some like counter arguments to that, but like just like stalling characters aren't really interesting. Like stunning and stall, not stunning for survivors, but just like stall. Stall is not really that interesting to me. And Perfumer is kind of just, I stall. So there are a lot of interesting tricks that you can do, so I almost want to put her in has her moments, but my bias, I'm just going to have her here. Too many perfumes, bro. Too many perfumes. Next up, we've got Cowboy Kevin. Cowboy Kevin? Peak. He's peak. I'm sorry, he's peak. He's so fun. I don't play him enough as I should, but he's peak. Just being able to lasso the hunter from far away, being able to lasso pallets, windows, ciphers, etc., just to get the big speed boost. Like the lasso is just such a fun ability. It's such a unique ability that just like, I don't know. I feel like it's so incorporated so well into like the character that he is, and the fact that he can harass, carry people around, even just like support without having to genuinely, balloon harass. Like he can just pick somebody up from far away. Like if you're stunned by like Wax Artist or Hermit, he can like grab you out of there. Like that always feels great. And the Cowboy player base is just really, really good on NAU as well, I feel like. Most Cowboys generally are pretty solid from my experience. So yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing as Ford. Is like he's a harasser, he's fun, and his decoding's not nearly as bad. I think he's only a 10% debuff, so like at least with Forward, you're like, oh, I'm sitting here on the cipher forever. Cowboys isn't as bad. But I would still say he's just peak gameplay design. He's just so much fun. It's so interactive, right? Like the things that just are interactive with the hunter, those are the most fun characters, right? They're just so much fun. Next up, we've got female Dancer. And Dancer, I'm going to put her in probably at the very bottom of fun. Because slow boxes and fast boxes are very fun to use. And you can... I still think... I always say this. I always think Dancer is one of the most underrated characters in terms of the meta. I feel like Dancer is just very, very solid. Because there's just so many ways to use her music boxes. And obviously you can do like the standard put music box under a palette and then get like a free palette stun off of that. But you can get like really good transitions from doing that as well, because she's really effective at just creating stronger loops with the slow boxes or even fast boxes. And it's just overall, I think that's just fun. I mean, the little spinning that you can do inside the boxes is fun. If you kite in 2-story areas, you get like a speed boost whenever you drop down, which is even better for looping in 2-story areas. So there's a lot of little things that you can do with Dancer. Again, not the flashiest character out there, but I feel like she always has like good tools. Like the slow box is just a solid, consistent, and relatively versatile tool that you can just use pretty much anywhere. You can use them for rescues, you can use them for kiting, you can use them for support, and you can even use the fast boxes to help decode. So like, it's just a solid all-rounder serve that's just kind of fun to play, but not up in peak or anything, but just very, very fun. Next up is going to be Seer. And I think Seer is also going to fall under fun. I think I'm going to put Seer probably like right here. Yeah, probably right here. So the thing about Seer is he's just owl farm. But what I think is the most fun thing about Seer is he is similar to Opera Singer in the way that he rewards you for being a good player, right? Because Opera Singer, if you are a very good Opera Singer player, you are like rewarded for your skill. The more effort and time you put into Opera Singer, the higher results you're gonna get. And I really like that from a character, right? Where you just like, the more master you have over that character and the fundamentals of the game, the better you're going to do. And that is the exact thing with Seer, because the longer you kite, the more owls you get. And the more owls you get, the longer you kite. That's why so many, tournament Seers have full kite, because the longer they kite, the more owls they get, which means the longer they kite is the longer. It's an endless cycle, you know? And it rewards skillful play. It rewards going for like crazy mind games and whatnot. And there's just so many things you can do. You can like obviously give the owl to a teammate and save them from a clutch situation, or like clutch things out by going for like an owl in a really needy situation. And he is literally he will always be good. Seer will always be a good survivor. He will never not be S tier in my opinion. He will always be a good survivor because he can literally give somebody a hit from across the map. His support is undeniably just like, it's insane. Like, it's just undeniably broken, basically. From anywhere on the map, he can give you one extra hit. And that is just insanely good. Doesn't matter if the attack recovery isn't as good, but like, it's just such a good ability. And when you play Seer, being able to just like stack up some owls feels so freaking good, dude. He's the reason why he's banned all the time. He's just incredibly fun because he just rewards you for being a good player. And obviously when you do bad, it doesn't feel that good, but you usually have the owl to you usually make it that you have 3 hits. So Seer is just a very overall solid serve. Very, very fun to play. And I just like that he rewards being skillful. Embalmer is going to fall under... Has their moments for sure. Probably like right here. Embalmer and Priestess are kind of in the same area for me because they have like the warping thing. Embalmer is just kind of... I'm actually gonna put him here, actually. The more I think about it. I mean, I like Aesop. I like his character ever since I watched the stage play, even though it's not completely accurate to him. But I do feel like his gameplay is very safe. It's kind of... I almost want to put him under meh, but like I just can't do that because Embalmer is just... It's a thing you have to respect. So... The thing about Embalmer, he's a very defensive survivor. He's extremely safe and defensive and non-interactable because the camping is, as much as I don't really like camping gameplay, it is a part of the game. And I kind of have to respect that. And Embalmer doesn't. He's just like, you know what? Camp? No. For one whole time in the game, I'm going to say no camp for you. And you can't snowball as hard. That's it. And that's pretty good, right? It's pretty good that he can do that. He can just pull himself off the chair, pull a teammate off the chair. That's a very solid ability. But in terms of like making for an exciting game, it's really not that exciting, especially to watch. When I see Embalmer play in a tournament, it's kind of a snooze fest because he dies away from Coffin, he takes Coffin, he dies in a corner, he dies, and then they take Tide Turner, and he dies on a corner, and that's it. It's just kind of the same stally type of gameplay, but he does have his moments again because he does have some clutch Coffins. They can go for some wild plays with like the guaranteed rescue Tide, Coffin, etc. He can embalm people at the end, and then like they get hit, and he can embalm them to the exit gate. So I'm putting him here because he does have his moments, but he's probably at the very bottom. He just, again, is a very defensive-based survivor, so I can't really put him any higher than that. Next up is going to be Norton, and Norton is going to fall probably right here, I would say. Again, another harasser, so he's pretty high up on the peak gameplay design. I mean, I just think Norton is just a really, really fun design character. The magnets are just dumb. He can harass them, he can kite with them. There's all sorts of little tricks that you can do with them. Pretty high skill character too. I feel like you need to have like a good amount of skill to play this character especially well. And there's so many like combo things that you can do. Like he counters a lot of the meta hunters too, like Ivy and Anne, he counters them, which is really nice. Not so good versus Opera or Goatman, but it's just kind of like a... I wouldn't say, I guess he's sort of an anti-meta pick, but he's also like a nice harasser to have for like late rounds and tournaments as well. And just in terms of like being able to just like generally harass the hunter, it's just so fun. And you can like drag them into pallets, get like a pallet stun, or harass them away from a teammate, push them into the tram. There's like so many clips that you can do, push them off an edge, push them into the tram, etc., stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, he's just fun. He's a harasser, what can I say? He's also very goofy, has some very, very silly emotes. Norton is just a grand old time. I hate fighting him. I absolutely hate going up against stupid Norton. But my goodness, is he just loads of fun to play. Next up is going to be Enchantress. And Enchantress is going to follow similar reasons from earlier, but she's not as effective with them. So she's probably going to go like right here above Lure. She is quite fun to play. The only issue about Enchantress compared to like Seer or like the other harassers is that her harassment potential is not nearly as strong, and her kiting potential is not nearly as strong. So similar to Seer, she gets a stun the longer she kites, right? But after the first 3 stuns, you start accumulating stuns very, very slowly. Seer accumulates owls pretty fast, and blocking a hit, I feel like is much better than getting one itty bitty little stun every like 25 seconds or however long you have to do it after the first 3, which accumulate relatively fast. Yeah, so the stuns, you get less value out of them. You don't have a stun from the start of the game. She is far less consistent than Seer is at kiting, and she's far less consistent at harassing because she can't really defend herself too well. And she's just like, compared to like everybody else, like with the previously mentioned Seer and harassers, she's just not as consistent and not as strong, which makes it like not as fun because it feels like there's less abilities that you can do in general. But overall, I still think she is a very, very fun character. I mean, the stuns are just really good for like assisting in your raw kiting. And when I played her on her character day a while back, it was so much fun. Like, I actually had so much fun playing Patty, and I really feel like I should play her more. Maybe she could rise up the tier list the more I play her, but she does have some inconsistencies and weaknesses as a character that just makes her probably not as high as the other ones, I think. Next up, we have Wildling. Wildling is, honestly, he might be the funniest character in the game, bro. Riding on the boar and just being faster than the hunter, that's so funny. That is so funny. Is he annoying as heck to fight? Yes. I will not deny I hate fighting Wildling. The stupid whistle thing so you can't hear tinnitus. Oh my gosh, that's annoying. The free get your free pass to chair with the boar. That's annoying. 50 seconds of boar at the start of the match. That's annoying. Boar just in general, annoying, yes. But when you're playing as Wildling, bro, being able to outspeed the hunter, being able to just harass while you're on the board for so long, he has like so many tools in his kit. And yes, he does decode awfully. It's -30 or something. It's terrible. Or maybe it's -25. I always forgot. One of the two. He's garbage at decoding. But he's just so much fun to play. And he's so goofy, bro. It's not just that he's fun, but he looks so dumb while he's doing it because he's just riding on his boar. Oh gosh, he's so funny, bro. He's just so funny. Every time I see a Wildling, I'm just laughing, bro. I'm always laughing. He's just such a funny, goofy character, bro. He's so funny. He's so goofy. I absolutely love Wildling. He honestly might be #1. That's for sure. Next up, we have Mike Gaming. That's right, good old Acrobat. And Acrobat is gonna go under peak gameplay design, probably. I would say right here, actually. Acrobat is just so fun. He's one of the best kiters in the game, if not the best kiter in the game. And the bombs, you have so many resources, right? You have 3 bombs from the start, an extremely strong resource. It's basically like Giga Flywheel. I mean, you don't remove control effects, but in terms of like the distance that you get, it's better than a flywheel. And you can jump over windows and pallets for free from a decently long ways away, and the secondary effects from the bombs are so nice. The fire bomb, so good for campy hunters when you have to go for a rescue. The slow bomb, really good in like alleyways. Interaction bomb, really good when you set it up towards a god pallet or window. And like knowing when to use them is just so good. There's just so many little tricks. You can even use like interaction bomb and then have the hunter pick up the survivor slowly. That way somebody else can go in for an easier harass. Like, he has so much synergy. He has such good kiting. And for the only debuff is like opening the gate poorly, which is like not even that bad, because if you're playing well anyways, usually somebody else is going to open up the gate. And it really doesn't feel like that bad, because even if he doesn't get chased and he has to open up the gate and the hunter TPs onto you, you're Acrobat. You're not going to die because you're a freaking super broken kiter. So yeah, Acrobat just feels so slick, so fun. And it's just his movement options. I guess like survivors with just fun movement in general. Acrobat just has, it's just insanely fun movement. So he's going up in peak gameplay design. Absolutely love playing as Mike. I used to be really bad as him. I'm getting better as him, but and there's just like so many good jumping tricks that you can learn as well. And he looks cool while he's doing it. I mean, the jump just looks cool. The roll after, he just like looks cool, and he's also just goofy as well. Like he's got it all, bro. He's good kiting, good in the meta, goofy character, funny, fun. He's got it all, bro. Like good skins, plenty of emotes. Like he's got it all, bro. Mike Gaming really does have it all. Next up, we've got Jose, Mr. First Officer. I've been playing Jose quite a bit. But I still don't think I can rate him any higher than just has his moments. I personally do think he's more fun to play with than Mercenary because I actually do like the juking with the pocket watch. He still only decodes and rescues. He doesn't really get to kite all that often. And even when he does kite, it's just kind of like mind game, mind game, mind game, mind game. And I do like it. I think it's fun. But he's not like overall consistently like fun. He's more just like I gotta rescue, so we gotta play Jose. Because like I'd rather be playing characters up here than Jose, right? But you know, I don't dislike playing him. Like, he has his moments, and like in general, I like I said earlier, all survivors have the potential to be fun. This is just like on average, my preference kind of thing. So I would put Jose probably like right here, pretty close to Mercenary. I just find the pocket watches to be more fun to use than the elbow pads. So next up, we've got Demi. We've got Barmaid here, and she is gonna go under. Where is she gonna go, actually? That's actually kind of tough. You know, this one's actually kind of hard. I don't really know where to rate her. I think I'm gonna put her near Lucky Guy, actually. And under has her moments. Cause, I mean, Demi's just a healer kiter. She kites while she heals. She's like what Doc should have been to make her interesting. She's like just a more interesting doctor, basically. Cause she has the 2 drinks, and she has the speed bottle, and that's it. Right, so she's not super interesting, she's not super engaging, but it always feels good getting a drink off and then barely getting it off or something, or like even getting a drink off and then like dropping a pallet and then mixing and then you have like another drink. Like when you pull off her raw kiting, it feels good. It's kind of like a Seer. It's kind of like a Seer effect in a way, where like the better at the game that you are, the more rewarded that you are for Demi, which is why I feel like, you know, you need to have good raw kiting skill potential, and you're rewarded for it by getting you're being back at full health with your drinks. But also in general, I feel like in this meta, it's just kind of harder to get the drinks off. She's less consistent than Seer. They do make for a pretty good combo, but you also can like give the drinks to your friends as well, but not everybody can get them, which is just kind of dumb. I really feel like they should just make it a soda for the underage survivors. I don't know, bro. Either way though, I think I'd probably put her in Has Their Moments because again, she is just a healer and healers aren't super exciting or flashy. She could maybe go here, but I think for now I'm just gonna put her under Has Their Moments. Next up we have Mr. Postman. And Postman, before his buff, I would probably put him under Has His Moments. But after his buff, I think I'm gonna put him probably like right here actually. After Wick can now stun the hunter and balloon drop, that was like such a necessary buff, honestly, to make Postman a more interesting character, because Postman and Prisoner, like similarly, they have like that ability where they can just stun the hunter for 1 second and balloon drop. And while it's not really that good, it buys, like in terms of accelerated decoding, if you get like 1 little stun off, that's actually gonna buy you like 8 seconds. Because you throw the dog out, or you throw the stun out with Prisoner Postman, when they're picking up the survivor, they fall. The hunter has to swing and hit them, and you're in attack recovery, and then you come in and heal stall. And then that would buy like 10 seconds for free. In 10 seconds, that can get like a lot of stuff done. And not to mention, Postman's just a fun kiter to play because he can give himself the letters for the buffs. Wick is actually just so much better now. I mean, it's still not very consistent. Wick is still not great of a consistently item, but when you get the Wick, it's like you're more rewarded for it now. Especially against like hunters that a stun would be better to interrupt them as opposed to just like the slowdown. For example, an and jump, you can interrupt and jump. You can interrupt Night Watch dash. You can interrupt Violetta speed. Like being able to interrupt a hunter and then slow them down as opposed to just slowing them down, so much stronger. So much stronger. So yeah, I would put him under fun. Because he can also just like help out your teammates with all the different letters. He's one of the only survivors that can help you from anywhere on the map, similarly to Seer, and that's always fun, being able to support a teammate even though you're not next to them. So yeah, I'll put him under fun. He's a fun character. Next up is going to be Grave. Now, I don't really play Grave as much as I should, but I feel like I haven't got the chance to play him post buff. So honestly, this is gonna be a bit of an awkward placing for Grave, but post buff, he looks more fun. I haven't actually played him post buff. Before his buff, I would probably put him... Honestly, he's kind of just a tank, so I'd probably just like put him here, pre-buff. But post-buff, he actually looks a lot more interesting. I mean, he's a very good anti-meta serve, because he's not like super godlike against the best hunters in the game, especially like Opera and whatnot. But he's very good anti-meta. He's good against Anne. He's good against Wax. He can just approach the chair relatively consistently against most hunters. He's good against Hermit. He can like approach the chair against all those people. Sculptor, Clown, Gamekeeper, very good against them. Very good at approaching the chair from all those guys. Witch, I feel like he's pretty decent against. Bonbon, like he can just get to the chair against a lot of good campy hunters that come out in later rounds of the tournament. But after he got that thing where he could jump out of the shovel, he looks a lot more fun. So this one's gonna be more of a guesstimate thing, but I'm gonna put him at the top of has their moments ever since that buff. Pre-buff though, he'd probably just be down here because he's kind of just like shovel tanking. But after the buff, I gotta put him up here. For now, he could go up in the future for me, maybe even up into fun, but I haven't played him with his new buff, so he's gonna go there. Next up is gonna be a Prisoner, and Prisoner is gonna go under. Probably has their moments as well. Actually, he might be at the bottom of fun. I'm gonna put him at the bottom of fun. He just barely makes it into fun because he has the stun. The shock is always a thing, right? And being able to decode ciphers from far away is actually kind of, I would even say fun, because like, it's kind of tedious to run back and forth between ciphers a lot of the time. Having a Prisoner on your team feels so nice, dude. Being able to like have people finish up your cipher so you don't have to go back to it and you can start a new one. You don't have to run around the map. Like the amount of time you waste running around the map like an idiot, a Prisoner solves that. And that's so nice because you can just finish up those ciphers. Connect those ciphers just feels so good. You can always tell what ciphers have progress if you ever are keeping track what ciphers you got. If you have a Prisoner, you're chilling, bro. You're not going to decode an extra cipher with the Prisoner because Prisoner will know where it is. And that feels good. And also the shock, being able to harass with that feels pretty nice as well. Not the strongest one in the game, but always having the shock to like just respect in the back for a decoder as well. It's pretty handy. So he's definitely going to go at the bottom of fun for me. Maybe he's back down in here, but I think just like having the shock, anything with like the interactive balloon harassment can always just be really interesting. Next up is going to be Miss Entomologist Melly. Now, personally, for my 100% bias, she is the most fun survivor to play in the game. I absolutely love playing Melly. Although I think like if I'm trying to be a little less biased than normal, I would still put her up here, but I think I'd probably put her at the bottom of peak gameplay design because I love Entomologist, so you know this. I mean, the face of the channel and whatnot. But her gameplays are so fun. I mean, flying on the bees for the speed boost is so much fun. There's no trail, so you can mix up the hunter with that. You do have the debuff where they can see behind walls, but you can also like somewhat play around that sometimes. You can use your bees in so many different ways. So you can block off pallets. You can mind game with the bees by like swinging or like reacting to the swing of the hunter, pulling back the bees right when they pull them back, and you can serve your item. So you bait swings all the time, and you feel so smart when you do. And you can send out bees to support your teammates. You can help them struggle free. You can prevent basement. You can just do all sorts of things with the bees, even like blocking things like Ripper Foggy Blades, Axe Boy Souls, Clown Dashes. She has really good matchups, really bad matchups too. But overall, I think she's just such a fun character to play. And being able to put up your bees like anywhere on the map is so much fun. Being able to use them while you're down or on chair is really fun too. I do think if Melly got a buff, she would be like super good. I do feel like she's probably the most balanced survivor in the game. But she's also just so much fun. I think I actually have to put her a little bit higher. I think I'd probably just put her like right underneath Acrobat. But yeah, I love Melly. She's so much fun to play. She's so versatile. She's got so many different little abilities and so much little tech. Like you can crouch cancel to instant push with bees. Like there's so many little techniques that you can do with Melly. And I feel like she can, even though she's like a relatively low skill floor, I feel like she has a high skill ceiling. Which is the case for all the survivors, but I feel like it's especially the case for somebody like Melly in her kit. Like you watch Cows and Echoes Melly, you watch like a rank Melly, then you look at Cows and Echoes Melly, and oh my gosh, night and day, bro. They play Melly so differently. It's crazy. But yeah, I love Melly. She's in peak gameplay. My bias would put her up here, but I got to keep her here for now. Next up, we've got ourselves Edgar Painter. Painter is gonna go probably right. Actually, I'm gonna probably move Mage. Now, Mage actually can stay there. Let's put Painter let's put Painter like right below Enchantress. So Painter can't balloon harass, but the paintings feel really good. I think one of the best feelings about playing Painter is just doing like a solid kiting build with Snooze. And it just feels like, it feels nice that you don't have to worry about people rescuing you after half because he doesn't have the halfway chair time. So the chair time thing is just so nice. The double painting thing is nice because you can put them up in really good spots to force the hunter to look at them. What I see a lot of painters do at high levels, they also, they take advantage of the fact that the hunter doesn't have to look at their painting to stall for even more time. Because, you know, while the hunter can look away from the painting to not have to look at it, you can also waste time by forcing them to not look at it and then try to swerve around your painting to make them look at it. So you could waste even more time by doing that, which is really cool. So despite it being like a thing that is like not that good, it's a little risky because sometimes they can just hit you and then they look at the painting to cancel their own attack recovery. So that sucks. But when you win it, those situations feel good. Now he's not the most consistent survivor in the game, but he's very, very fun when he works. And I really like the little speed buff that he gets after putting down the paintings. That's really nice. I don't know why he has such the debuff when he puts down the painting and then the hunter can see you. I don't really know why that's a thing, especially for like 10 seconds. I can see maybe a few seconds, but I don't know, bro. It feels like a little weird to me. I know it's so that you don't like lose track of your target, but there's a lot of servers that just like stun you and then just leave. So I don't know. Painter's fun though. All around the board, pretty fun character to play. Next up is going to be Batter, and Batter is going to pretty much go right next to Prospector. I think they're pretty much the same. Batter and Prospector are basically the exact same archetype. I think I'm just gonna put Norton ever so slightly higher because he has infinite resources, whereas Batter doesn't. Yeah, that's probably why. I mean, everything that I said about Norton, it applies the exact same thing for Ganji. Obviously Ganji has like more faster, he has faster vaulting, whereas Norton just has a little speed boost from the Cypher thing. So they each have like little things. Batter has the altruism speed boost, which feels really good when you're moving that fast. I think he does take more skill to play than Norton. He's a very, very high skill character to play, unless you're playing up against me, in which I just pick up the survivor and then just you'll ball me and then I just won't break the ball because it wastes too much time, and then I just do it again and again and again and again and again. But yeah, I mean, Batter's just a lot of fun. I feel like his kiting is really good, but hard. I think he's just like difficult. He's just difficult. I feel like if I were to get like really good, he could go up even higher. But I feel like I just got to put him like right next to Norton for now. Now let's see here. Next up is going to be Toy Merchant. And Toy Merchant is pretty simple. I'm just gonna put her probably like right here. I mean, she's fun. She's got the glider. I think I actually put her probably like right below Postman actually. I mean, the glider's fun. The catapults are fun, and giving teammates items are fun. It just doesn't feel as exciting, I feel like, as it should be. I mean, a lot of the time, hunters can just kind of catch up to her instantly, especially like the really, really good ones. I mean, Goatman completely counters her. She's not really good against the top 4. But, you know, being able to like just loop areas with the catapults and then the glider is really fun. Like, you can always catapult into a glider to get tons of distance, but I feel like gliding into a catapult to loop back into somewhere to like kite and then glide again, like Big Boat or Hospital or something, I feel like those are always a lot more fun. I just feel like it's a little harder to use her, considering a lot of hunters can just kind of not have to deal with her, and they can catch up to her really fast. Like anything that's super fast can just kind of just obliterate her anyways. But overall, she's fun. She's fun. Not the most fun star in the game, but she's fun. Patient is going to go under... Oh, where am I going to put Patient, actually? Where am I going to put Patient? My Patient's garbage, by the way. My Patient's actually so bad. So this might have like a bit of a bias to it. I think he's going to be either at the very top of fun or peak gameplay. I might put him at the very bottom of peak gameplay design. He follows the same principles as Acrobat. I just feel like Acrobat is more... What is it? Patient has more unique tricks that he can do with his hooks, but he gets less of them, and I feel like he's a less consistent survivor than Acrobat. Acrobat is better against more hunters. Patient is not as good as Acrobat. He's like they're still very, very solid, but a lot of hunters counter Patient. I mean, he's not great against Ivy because she can cancel his hooks. He's not great against Hullabaloo since he can cancel his hooks. Not great against Goatman because he can just put up a wall. He's good against Opera though. But Acrobat is pretty much good against Opera, Ivy. Goatman's 50-50, and then Hullabaloo he's good against. Like, Acrobat is good against everybody. He doesn't really have a weakness. Acro just doesn't have a weakness, whereas Patient does. He loses stuff like Geisha and like not really whack starts, but he loses stuff like Geisha. You know, he has like some tough matchups. But his hooks are, I would say they're not as strong as Acrobat bombs. I feel like there's more interesting tricks that you can do. I think that's the biggest thing is like, you can hook into 2-story areas. You can hook from far away. You can hook to get like tons and tons of distance. There's plenty of trick hooks. There's a lot of trick jumps with Acrobat, but I think there's even more trick hooks with Patient. And pulling off a good hook in a match always feels good. He can approach chairs pretty easily. I mean, he's just Spider-Man. He's literally just Spider-Man. He can swing around like Spider-Man. He's a really well-designed character in my opinion. He's just so much fun to play. I am personally just really, really bad with him, but I think he's got to go into repeat gameplay. He's so fun. And obviously he's got the little speed boost that he can do with Ada, which is also just really fun as well. As for Ada is also going to, I like playing Ada, and I do kind of feel bad for rating her this low after I got the S badge with her, but I gotta put her like right here. I'm sorry. Ada's just a tank. She's just a straight tank. I mean, she's a 3-hit serve. Not really that exciting. She has no kiting abilities outside of the running toward Patient thing, which is very, very niche. But you know, she has her moments. I mean, you can delay hits, or you can have like the stress hold thing. You have the stress is an interesting mechanic, because you can like make it to certain places where you wouldn't be able to if you have stress. And you can whistle to people, which is always just fun. And there's some interesting stuff you can do with Ada, right? But overall, she's a very safe tank, very, very strong survivor in the meta. One of the most safest, probably the safest character in the game. I would even say if you're ever trying to learn the game, always play Ada. Playing Ada is the best character that you can use to learn the game, in my opinion, because she's basically like your 3 hits. So you have a safety net basically. You have a guaranteed safety net in every single game. If you get Terror Shock, you have a guaranteed rebound if you don't get Tide Turnered. Like. She's one of the best characters to learn how to rock height with, which is why I practiced her for so long. But in terms of gameplay, she really is just a simple rock hider. So I would actually maybe even put her below Aesop. I really hate to say it, but I think I'd have to put her here. She's just safe. She's just way too safe to be super interesting. Now next up we have my GOAT, Orpheus. Now Orpheus, I think is insanely cool. I think he's so freaking fun because it's the same thing with Seer. It's literally the same thing with Seer. I think he's right here. The switcheroo is so cool because he can interrupt Hunter's abilities sometimes. He can approach rescues at the chair for free. Like he can cancel Bane Hook. There's so much this character can do, but he just kind of is inconsistent. He's hard to play. In my opinion, he's hard to master because you have to be good at mind games and you have to be good at tight kiting. Well, you have to be a really good rock kite. It's similar to Seer, but trickier. Because with Seer, the more you rock kite, the more resources you get and you block hits, right? In crucial situations. Whereas Novelist, the switcheroo isn't as good, but it's like more interesting because the swap into Palace Sun is so cool, dude. I'm sorry, it's so cool. Like, I love being able to do that. There are some free setups where you can do it, but like you kind of have to win a mind game half the time to do it. And a lot of hunters can counter him. Like he hurts. It hurts to play him against something like an Ivy. Like he's completely garbage versus Ivy. And playing Novice into certain projectile hunters can also really hurt him. Playing him into Wax can kind of hurt him because you swap into Palace, and I think that's just like instantly 50 Wax right there, I think. So yeah, he has like some really bad matchups, and they did say they're gonna buff him on the horizon. And I just absolutely love playing Novelist, dude. I just feel like this character has the potential to just be like so crazy and so fun. He just has some really bad matchups, and he has some really good matchups too. Though he actually destroys Bane. He obliterates Bane. Like that's actually like an insane matchup. But like he also gets destroyed by stuff like Ivy. So it's just kind of tough. I love kiting with Novice though. Like he's just so much fun. He absolutely like destroys so many characters, dude. He kills Clown. He kills Wheel. He kills Wu-Chang. He kills Geisha. He kills just so many hunters. He kills BQ. Like he kills even Lizard, I would say. Not everybody. Like a Dream Witch, he's trash. He's trash against Dream Witch. And pretty 50-50. It's pretty tough. And there's other characters. It can be pretty tough for him. I don't know. Mad Eyes he's pretty good against, I think. But like Sangri he's good against. But stuff like Ivy, Goat. But Goatman he could be alright. But Hollow Blue I feel like he's not going to be too good against. Because you swap with Hollow Blue and he just catches up instantly. Or he puts you in red and it's just like, oh, well, there goes the swap. I don't know, dude. I think like if they give him like a solid buff soon, And just to make it more consistent, that would just be really, really nice. I love Novelist, so I think he's so much fun. Next up is the small child. Okay, so child is gonna go under has her moments, probably like right here. I mean, I rarely ever play little girl. In fact, I've only played her one time ever, and that was on her character day. One time ever, but it was like one times ever. It was like for one day I played her. I played her in like 10 matches, then never again. She's my least played character in this game. And, I mean, she's just not really that interesting to me. I know a lot of people love playing little girl, but her item just isn't really that interesting. You just push the hunter, and it's just, that's it. And, I mean, the warping is interesting. It's, like, very strategic with the warping, and the leeching is interesting as well. Like, she basically has 3 abilities with no debuffs, which is pretty nice. But none of those abilities are particularly great, especially against the top hunters in the game. Overall, I mean, she's just kind of fine. She's just kind of there. Not really super exciting. She's really just kind of there to me. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to put her there. Next up, we have Weeping Clown. And Weeping Clown is going to basically fall probably like right below Patient. I mean, the rockets are just fun. Like, after his buff, he can be so much more consistent with the rockets. He gets so much distance. He can harass with the rockets. He's a very goofy character. He can ride on rockets with other people. And it's just like you can debuff the hunter whenever you hit them with a rocket, like giving them like a slowdown, even if it doesn't hit them, and you get the speed buff. So it's like after getting a speed bonus, you get another speed bonus, and for a speed bonus for your ally if you like do it near them. So the rockets are just very, very good abilities. He can pick up items afterwards. He's a solid, consistent survivor. He does have some pretty bad matchups. Like he doesn't really like projectile hunters or anything that's just like a little bit too fast. It's mostly projectile hunters. I feel like Hermit would be annoying. And anything that can pull him off his rocket can just be really, really frustrating for him. And I feel like he does have some pretty bad matchups, like Goatman, maybe Mad Eyes as well, if he just sets up like a wall. I don't really know. I don't really play him too much, but I mean, Weeping Clown's always a fun time. He's a fun time, honestly. I really like Weeping Clown. Next up is gonna be Lucino Professor. And post buff, I think he's a little more interesting now that he can remove certain control effects. But in the past, when it was just kind of like a parry mechanic, not that interesting, honestly. Professor is kind of one of the most underwhelming survivors in my opinion, because the parry mechanic is just, I'm sorry, it's just not interesting. It's just really not that interesting. I'm sorry. Like, that's all he has. And he can give it to the other survivors. I'm sorry. Bro, how often do you ever see a survivor actually use his shell and, like, do well with it? Because the window to do it is so small, they have to react. And, it just doesn't really ever happen. And the hunters that have slow enough swings to react to, you usually don't get it off in time. Like, for example, Anne. Her swing is very, very slow, right? But most of the time, she's hitting you while you're stunned, so you can't even use it. And then half the other hunters, they have just very, very unreactable swings. And like, if you're like, oh, maybe BQ, you can react to her swing, right? Nope. Because what if she hits you with mirror? So it's very rare that I see those little ally assistant scales ever being used. And when he does get a scale off, it's pretty cool, right? So, I mean, he has his moments, but I feel like he's just way too inconsistent still. Even after his, like, buff, I don't know. Maybe he'll see a lot more play in the future. I just feel like he's one of the most underwhelming survivors out there in terms of, like, just his ability. Yeah, I don't know. Not super crazy. But next up, we're going to have Antiquarian. And honestly, dude, I am sorry, but Anti's peak. I think she's right below Wildling. Because the thing is, Anti is like hype, bro. She's so hype. There's so many things you can do with Anti. I mean, like, she's broken serve. Has fallen off a little bit due to like the newer hunters, but like she's always going to be a serve that you have to respect. Literally only has one debuff, that's gate opening speed, whereas she has like so many things. She has whenever the hunter misses swings, she gets faster pallet drops and longer pallet stuns. She has built-in airwalk for some reason. She has 6 uses of the flute, which can be used in so many different ways: flipping, spinning, and stunning. And that feels great, bro. Like, she's just a fun character. She's fast. No decoding debuffs. She can rescue. She can just do it all. And obviously another harasser. And it has a pretty decently high skill ceiling. And what was also just really cool is you just look cool while you do it, right? The flip looks so cool. You get so much distance from the flip. And she just looks cool. Like, she's basically the only one who just picks up a sword and is like, yeah, die. Like, she just like scraps with the hunter, and I really, really like that. and especially like really good antis, like versus really good hunters. They're so much fun because it's like the back and forth that they do, like the little dance. Oh, it's so fun. It's so hyped to watch. Like you watch somebody like Kazan Echo or Emko on anti, bro, you're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be so much fun to watch. The thing though is, I don't think Antiquarian has like that goofiness to her. She's a very serious character. Where I feel like Forward, Acro, and even Muro, they have like a little bit of goofiness that kind of is like, haha, funny. Anti's not that funny, I'm sorry. She's just cool. Like, she is probably objectively the coolest character in this game. But she's not really silly. She doesn't really have much silliness to her, I feel like. Whereas like a lot of the other people up here, they got some sillies, you know? Like everybody up here has like a little bit of silliness to them. Anti's not silly, she means business. And I like that about her, but she doesn't really have the goofiness to put her into number 1, I feel like. I love Anti though. I want to play more Anti. Antis are so much fun. Even if my Anti's not that good, I absolutely love Antiquarian. One of my favorite survivors to play as, and just one of my favorite survivors in general. Next up, we got my boy Composer, and Composer is probably going to fall pretty similarly to Prisoner, probably like right here. I love my GOAT Composer. He's my second favorite survivor in the game. Love playing him. But he only really has one thing, and that's the speed bonus. But the little keyboard game that he plays while decoding, that's also really fun to play. I think the issue is they kind of made him less interesting by giving him the auto-tuning thing, where you play it and once you get 80 notes, you can't really play the game anymore. And in the past, I liked playing the game because it was just kind of fun. Listening to music is just really fun while you're decoding. I think it's just like a really interesting mix-up in terms of decoders and like in general, because it's the only guy, he's the only character that makes decoding interesting, right? Every other character is just like, okay, hit calibration, but he's actually like, he makes it a fun little mini game. But a lot of the time, when you're focusing on a ranked match and you're trying to hit these notes, you're like, bro, I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on in the match. It's hard to ping, especially when you're on PC. You're like trying to hit the notes and you gotta like press down like to move your thing. And it can just feel like a little awkward to try and ping while you're decoding as a composer. But then again, you have the auto-tuning things now that helps him out. So you can literally just like sit back and watch the game play itself for you. But I still think he's overall really fun. And the speed boost can be really fun too, having to hit the little calibrations to get the speed boost as well. He's simple. He's simple and fun. He's nothing so super complex. He's just a nice fun time. Next up is going to be Journalist, and Journalist is going to fall probably in a pretty similar area to Composer. I'd probably put her a little under. Actually, I'm gonna put her right here. I think Journalist is fun. She's just very inconsistent. I feel like she has the highest skill ceiling out of every character in the entire game, because theoretically she is a 6-hit survivor. She is. It is just incredibly difficult to get the doofy body blocks. If it was more consistent, maybe, but I know there's at least one player out there. I forget their name, but there's one player out there that every hunter bans Journalist against because their Journalist is just that good, and they're able to reach that point of Journalist where they can get like block with all the doofuses. They have insane reaction time, insane Orpheus positioning, and they can even use the Orpheus to like block it for other teammates, block off pallets, or just like eat the hit for them. The rescue doofus, and then she gets the speed bonus every time you hit the doof. And like when you get like a really clutch doofus, it always feels really good. You can pallet stun to balloon rescue as well. I'm actually gonna put her up a little higher now that I remember the pallet stun to balloon rescue. I'm gonna put her like right below Enchantress, I think. So yeah, I think Journalist has like so much potential, but like it's the same issue with a Novelist, is that like she has bad matchups and is just inconsistent. I feel like both Novelist and Journalist have the potential like to be so cool and interesting and consistent in hype, but they're just not consistent. That's the thing, is they're just not consistent. You like really need a high skill, very, very high skill to play. Whereas like the mental thoughts, like the mental strength it takes, especially like a tournament setting, the mental strength it would take to play Journalist over something like, you know, something simple like a Gardener that just has bubble. It's just so much easier. It's just too much work, right? Or like a Seer. Like these characters are so much easier to play than Journalist, because even though they fundamentally have the same thing of like eating hits and being a tank, Journalist is just so much harder. And same with Perfumer. Perfumer is so much more easy because you just like see it happen, click button, react, and then you have it, right? Whereas Journalist is not just click button. You have to do positioning, click button, and then like you have to watch out for how the hunter like moves their hitbox, because they can, you know, manipulate their hitbox as well, because it's a body block. You're not actually tanking it, you're body blocking for yourself. So it requires insane positioning and reaction time, and also is very ping dependent as well. So if you have like bad ping, it's probably harder to play Journalist. So yeah, I would put her in fun. Again, higher potential, much higher potential to go higher, but for now, until she gets like a buff or something in the future, she's gonna sit there now. I do think she's like has really good matchups, but just has really weak matchups as well. It's the same thing with Novelist, right? Really strong matchups, really bad matchups. Next up, we've got my boy Charles, and Charles is gonna go under the fun category, probably like right, let's see. Probably like right here, actually. Probably like Brillo Coordinator. The jetpacks are fun. He's a fun character. Honestly, I like playing him with the kiting build more than I do a tide build, but he's really fun. I mean, the jetpacks get you like a decent amount of distance, not as much as they did in the past, but like they can usually get you a decent amount of distance to get somewhere quicker. The hover is so much fun to use. I really wish there was like a cooldown on the hover. Like if it was like the 150-second hover thing that he had in the past, where they were like considering giving him that buff, that would have made him much more interesting. But I mean, the hover is such a strong ability, so I can see why they didn't do that. But I don't know. I like Charles. He's super fun. Getting to use like the dashes and the jetpacks. You can approach the chair pretty much for free with that. And there's some crazy text that you can do. There's some crazy tech that you can do with Charles. I'm not super aware of it, but like when I see these tournaments, bro, these people are just like flying around like crazy. It's like the hunter will never catch them, bro. It's so crazy. And when you pair him with the cheerleader, bro, oh my gosh, he can really cook with that hover. But yeah, overall, I'm kind of sad that he got nerfed because his jetpack used to give him so much distance, bro. He used to be such a good character. And then he got nerfed, and then he's kind of like worse mercenary now. But he still decodes fast as well. It's just his pallet dropping speed kind of sucks, so you got to be really careful on the pallets. And that's never really good. The pallet dropping speed is like the biggest thing that just kind of makes him kind of annoying. But I don't know. I like playing Charles. I should play him a little bit more, honestly. Next up, we have Lily Beep Beep, and Lily Beep Beep's gonna go into peak gameplay design, probably at the very bottom. Because Lily has 3 abilities, right? She has Beep Beep, she has Refresh, and then she has the Cheer. Like she can motivate people and help them revive and give them speed boosts, while also giving them a 5% passive speed boost. That's cool. I don't know why I'm doing the Beep Beep motion with my hands right now. You can't even see me, but I'm doing the Beep Beep motion with my hands. Let me stop doing that. I look like an idiot. If the government's spying on me in my own house, bro, they're gonna be like, what's this guy doing, bro? Oh, it's dumb. But yeah, those 3 abilities are really fun to use. I mean, the speed boost that you get from Beep Beep is fun. You just really have to know how to like when to use them, because I feel like a lot of cheerleaders will just like beep beep because the hunter's close, and then they just like beep beep out in the open, then they just die. You really got to be careful of that slowdown though. The slowdown really hurts. I mean, you get a lot of beep beeps per game. I'd say on average you probably get like 5 to 6 beep beeps per game. When you're just decoding, you can beep beep to ciphers, which also helps. And you can refresh people from across the map, which is always fun. You know, you can go for some crazy plays with cheerleader refreshes. So it's really cool that she can do that. She has like really good synergy with Cowboy, with Acrobat, with Entomologist, with Seer, a couple of the characters, Painter. And anybody who has like a significantly long cooldown. Professor, she has good synergy with. Composer, she has great synergy with. Gravekeeper, she has perfect synergy with. Like, she has just really good synergy with so many different characters, bro. And I really like that about her. Weeping Clown also. Weeping Clown, really good synergy. Patient too. Patient as well. I just feel like she's not like the greatest kiter, especially after they nerfed her, where they made her beep beeps recharge slower. And I feel like she's just a little harder to use than often. But also, she can the speed boost is just undeniably like good. It's just like a free speed bonus that you can get like at any time. Especially like to approach a chair. Like if you really want to guarantee a rest, you can just force it by beep beeping all the way over there. So yeah, I mean, she's super fun. I really like playing Lily, so I would put her into peak gameplay design. It's just the slowdowns really do hurt. They really do hurt her. Next up is going to be Puppeteer. Now, I was saying this earlier with Perfumer, where I really don't like the stalling-based characters, but I find Puppeteer to be a little more interesting. I personally have a good amount of fun playing Puppeteer, but I think the thing that makes me more interested in Puppeteer, and why I might put him at the very bottom of fun, is that he has worse matchups than Perfumer, and he has to sacrifice his own life at the cost of what he's doing. Where yes, he does stall, but he only has 3 Lewises. Perfumer has three perfumes, yes, but she can use them to just stall and not even have to like eat a hit. Where if you don't do that perfectly timed Lewis, she can't do like any 2-story. You can't do 2-story stalls with Lewis, right? You cannot do that. Lewis also has Undaunted, so you can remove control effects. So that's pretty cool. I really like the Undaunted ability. That's what makes him a lot more interesting, is his Undaunted, because you can remove control effects and then guarantee like a rest. You can also eat terror shocks for free, which is like kind of exciting. It's kind of cheap. Yes, it is kind of cheap, but you only have a 4-second window to do it. So it is pretty tight. And it's not, I wouldn't even say it's 4 seconds, because you got to use the Lewis to get to the chair and rescue within 4 seconds. It's an extremely, extremely tight window. And if you got to do it like against like a Naiad, bro, it's scary, bro. It can be really, really scary. But I just think Puppeteer is a lot more interesting because he only has 3 chances, whereas like Vera has 3 perfumes, and then that's it. And also, he gets more Lewis's after his rebound. So like, he has rebound potential for free, and it's like, okay, how are they going to use that, right? He's like got like the strategicness of it all. He has to like have good reaction time. I feel like you need like, he's like a weird combination, because I feel like he's half brain dead, but also half like big brain for Puppeteer, right? Because it's just like, uh-oh, Hunter's approaching me, click Lewis. But if you click Lewis, you have 8 seconds. Basically, give yourself an owl for 8 seconds, but the Hunter can still hit you for presence. So if you're up against an Anne, she's definitely going to hit you because she wants that prez. And he also has some bad matchups, like Wax Artist cooks him. Absolutely cooks him. I mean, he cooks Perfumer too, but Wax Artist cooks him. Because he can't, if you use your Lewis, you're basically sabotaging yourself by using Lewis. Anne is really good against Puppet. Any Chip Hunter, Bonbon, good against Puppet, stuff like that. Joseph in the past before his buff was actually like really good against Puppet, but not so much anymore. And then other characters that can be annoying for him, Hermit can be pretty annoying for Puppet. Fool's Gold can be kind of annoying for Puppet. But then you also have characters that you're just really, really good against, like Goatman, Sangria, Nightwatch. Like, I love cutting those hunters. Nightmare, bro. Nightmare gets worked by Puppet. Clown, Leo, like, freaking Witch, Weaver, Geisha. Like, you can deal with all that as Puppet. I think Puppet's decent against Gamekeeper. But, you know, stuff like Sculptor and Bonbon. That is kind of frustrating for him. I don't know. I think the Undaunted is really what makes his character a lot more interesting. And the fact that he has to use it at the cost of his own life. So it's like, you know, you got to be more strategic. Whereas like with Vera, you can kind of just like spam 3 perfumes, and then you still have 2 hits afterwards, and it's just guaranteed. Whereas Lewis is like, okay, you can use 3 Lewises, but if the Hunter just waits them out, then you just die. So you got to be more strategic with your Lewises. Whereas Vera is just kind of like, I hit the button, and then I still have 2 hits afterwards, because there's no like, it's like less committal, right? With Vera, there's less commitment, whereas Puppeteer, it's more commitment, because you're eating away your own health, which is why I find him to be a more interesting, along with the Undaunted. So that's my reasoning. That's why, like, I'm sure people will see this and be like, why is Vera and Puppeteer not the same spot? It's just like the fundamental reasonings behind it, because it's more risky to play Puppeteer. And you have to use your Lewis as well. Whereas Perfumer, I feel like it's just less committal. Now again, that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, you guys could have them swap for the exact same reason. But in my opinion, I think just Vera is just less interesting than Puppet for those reasons. I'm also going to put Lewis right here. I'm going to put Lewis above Matthias, because I think that'd be funny. Next up, we have Finn. Now, Finn is basically just Mercenary, but if he was a kiter. And I love Finn. I think Finn is so cool. I think I'm going to put Finn like probably like right below Patient. Finn is so freaking fun, dude. And another thing is, he's got the goofiness. He has the goofiness. Everybody up here outside of Anti has some goofiness, right? Almost everybody. They have some goofy elements to them. And Finn is no exception. He's so freaking goofy, bro. He's so freaking goofy. I mean, his ball, you get so much distance from. He's one of the best loopers, if not the best looper in the game. He can block off basement. He can block off alleyways. He can help struggle free. He has so many ways of using his item. Now, he does only get 2 of them, but they can be reused. And he also just hard counters certain characters like Wheel, what is that? Wheel, Ripper. I mean, Ripper sucks. It's stuff like that. You know, you can cut off like a Weaver. Imagine Weaver uses a ton of speed boost. Ball. Get all your speed's gone now. Nice. Good job, bro. All your speed's gone, and for what? It's kind of like that. And he's decent at rescuing too. Like, let's say you're scared of like a gamekeeper that's about to like, you know, hook you on chair. Put up a ball. Hit him with the ball, then insta rescue. You can just do that. You can just like remove that risk by doing like a perfect ball. Now, positioning is probably like a little trickier, and you might sacrifice a ball while you're doing so, but I feel like it's worth it, right? I feel like it's definitely worth it. The timing might be like a little strict, and I really don't know exactly how it works. I don't play Finn that much, but Finn is very strong. He's a very, very good survivor. Probably like a top 5 serve in the game right now. Top 10 at least. He's definitely top 10. And he's so much fun. I love Finn. He's so much fun. Next up, we got Faro Lady. Faro Lady is honestly gonna go right below Mage. I think Mage is more fun than Faro. I know I'm gonna get hate for this because I know people love Faro Lady. NAEU loves Faro Lady, bro. There are Faro Ladies everywhere in NAEU, bro. When I was playing in the mid tiers, and when I was playing Hunter in the mid tiers, I had a Faro Lady almost every single match. People love Faro Lady, and it's not just because of the Kasumi skin. People just love playing Faro Lady. They think it's the funniest thing when the Hunter walks the wrong way. They think it's the funniest thing to have like a built-in kind of free kite thing. I think Faro Lady is one of the most annoying survivors after her buff. Like before her buff, she was like manageable and like easy. But now she's like post buff, she's like really frustrating for me. Personally, as like a Hunter like to fight her. Is she fun? Yeah, she's fun. I'm putting her in fun for a reason. But I just had to talk about my beef though. I still think she's less fun than Mage in my personal opinion because I feel like Mage is just more consistent, right? Faro Lady, yes, you get better rewards, but she's less consistent. It's like a Mage, you got the wand to like guarantee avoid a hit, whereas Faro Lady's like, okay, you could guarantee avoid a hit and have the Hunter go the wrong way, but if the Hunter doesn't fall for your trick, then you're cooked. Faro Lady's really good in endgame though. She's got a little weak early game because let's say, for example, you're gonna rotate a Hunter, right? Any server can do that, right? Any server's gonna rotate a Hunter, but when your rotation is done, you lose your invisibility for 40 seconds. So then the Hunter can just kill you like any other survivor or any other pace of another survivor, right? Or probably even weaker. But what the thing is she's really good against full presence Hunters and endgame because the invisibility still lasts for that long amount of time. For example, let's say Composer up against like a full pres Night Watch. He's dying. That speed's doing nothing for him. Against a low pres Night Watch though, he's cooking that Night Watch. But a Faro Lady at low pres Night Watch, okay, I mean, she's not gonna do the best, but she's also gonna do solid. And then at a full pres Night Watch, she's gonna do solid because she can be invisible. And that's why Faro Lady can just be so interesting because no matter what presence the Hunter is at, if she has her invisibility, they have to respect that. And that's what's interesting about Faro Lady is because she prevents late game snowball sweeps with her invisibility with like just full pres Hunters. Now, of course, she does have bad matchups, stuff like Ivy and whatnot can hurt her. Goatman, people have said Faro Lady might be good versus Goatman. I really don't think so. I think if the Goatman is just good, then he'll just obliterate the Faro Lady and instantly. She gets absolutely destroyed by Anne. Like Anne absolutely obliterates her. I feel like Clown is pretty good against her. Gamekeeper's pretty good against her. And just like several other characters, I feel like would just be pretty good against her. Hermit would probably be pretty good against her. Any projectile Hunter would probably be like pretty decent. So yeah, I mean, Faro Lady's got her weaknesses. Not the strongest serve out there, but I think she's an overall fun survivor to play. The invisibility can be really, really fun. It's just not the most consistent thing in the world. Her buff really did help her be more consistently annoying, but still overall, I think she's a good time. Finally, we are going to have Knight, and Knight is going to fall probably like right next to Journalist, I think. For me, I just think Knight is fun. I mean, the prediction thing is fun. The rescuing that you got is fun. And it's fun to try and mind game the Hunter. There's a lot of good plays that you can do as well. Like for Knight, I feel like a lot of it comes down to experience versus every single Hunter. Obviously does have bad matchups, such as like Wax Artist and whatnot. But other bad matchups seem bad at first, like Anne, but then you can realize, oh wow, every time she uses her cats, you just do ability, because how Anne works is she has to throw out her cats, that counts as an ability, right? But to be able to split her cats, that's ability again. So if you're Knight, and you see that Anne toss out her cats, you don't use ability until you wait till she tosses out cats. That's all you gotta do. All you gotta do is raw kite. Once she tosses out the cats, you press ability. Once you press ability, if she tries to split the cats, she can't. The cats will run straight past you, and they'll split up later, and then all she'll be able to do is jump. And then you can just like do ability or swing or whatever you think she's gonna do next. So anytime it's cats, then use ability before she splits it. If she splits it instantly, you can't do it. You have to split, or you have to press ability before she splits the cat, and then the cats will just run out and it would be completely useless. So she basically avoids 3 cats for free. And if you can avoid 3 cats against an Anne, that's a 3 cipher kite guaranteed. So let's just walk into her like a doofus. So it's stuff like that where it comes down to like experience, right? Other bad matchups, he's got like Clown and whatnot. But he also has good matchups like Ripper. Ripper sucks. Joseph can't do really anything to him. I mean, those guys suck, but it's stuff like that. A lot of it comes down to like the experience. And just being able to mind game the Hunter. Like when you guess right, it feels really fun. Not the most consistent survivor out there, but I do think his rescuing is just really, really strong. But yeah, I'm just gonna put him here. He's fun. Not the most consistent in terms of kiting, but he's fun. Now, Meteorologist, again, I have not played her. She's not even available. I think she's available on the test server, but she's not available yet. She's still like a week for now. As I'm guessing, she looks fun, but she's not like the most unique survivor out there. I do like the little gust that she can do, like the pushback gust and the little flying thing. Just from looking at her trailer, I think she'd probably go under fun. Probably like, I'd probably put her like right around here. This is a guess though. I really don't know how fun she's gonna be. I'm probably gonna put her like right around here. Cause the hovering thing looks fun, but it looks really slow. And the pushing the hunter back thing looks really fun, but you only really get a couple of uses of it. So I'm not really sure how good she's gonna be. The healing thing is also pretty interesting, but like it's not really that exciting to watch. So yeah, I don't know. She does look fun though. She looks fun to play. She could be a little bit higher. Again, I'm just kind of guessing that she'll be like around this area because she doesn't seem extremely strong to me personally, but you know, maybe I could be proven wrong in the future. But yeah, that is all the survivors. We don't have a single one that went into not fun, honestly. Not a single one. As you can see, the tanky / safe / healer characters are pretty low outside of like Puppet and Barmaid that are just, their intricacies make them a little bit more interesting in terms of tanks. And the ones that interact with the hunter the most, they're all up here in the hype category, I think. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Let me know what you think. Obviously, this is 100% just my opinion. You're completely fine to disagree with me. In fact, I'd actually want to see some arguments being made for why you think some survivors are hype versus why you think some survivors are lame. Like, I know there's some people out there that think Anti is lame because she just goes 1, 2, 3, nobody interacts for like 17 seconds. But I feel like most people don't just go 1, 2, 3 and nobody does that. And plus, there's also a lot of hunters that can just do something else whenever they're damaged. So, like, not everybody's out here playing Ripper, bro. Anyways, like I said, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.